You probably think IKEA makes money the same way every other furniture company does. They design a sofa, build it in a factory, put it in a store, deliver it to your house, and make a profit. But IKEA does something very different. It makes you drive to a massive store, walk through what feels like a maze, find the furniture yourself, carry it to your car, take it home, and then build the entire thing with your own hands. And somehow, this strange system turned IKEA into one of the biggest furniture businesses in the world. So why does IKEA make the customer do so much of the work? Why are its stores designed like giant mazes? And how can a company sell furniture at relatively affordable prices while making billions? To understand how IKEA actually makes money, you have to understand one simple idea. IKEA doesn't just sell furniture. It has built an entire system designed to remove costs. Think about a traditional furniture store. You walk inside, see a sofa you like, talk to an employee, place an order, and then wait for the company to deliver the fully assembled furniture to your house. Sounds convenient, but somebody has to pay for all of that convenience. The employees have to be paid, the warehouse has to store the furniture, the delivery truck has to transport it, and the company has to deal with the fact that fully assembled furniture takes up a huge amount of space. IKEA looked at this system and basically asked, what if we made the customer do some of the work instead? And that brings us to one of the biggest secrets behind IKEA's business model, flat pack furniture. Instead of shipping a fully assembled table across the world, IKEA can break it down into a compact box. You take the pieces home and assemble them yourself. And while that might sound like a small difference, economically it's huge because flat boxes take up less space. Less space means more products can fit inside a warehouse. More products can fit inside a shipping container. More products can fit inside a truck. And when you can transport more furniture in the same amount of space, your transportation cost per item can potentially go down. That's one reason IKEA can keep its system relatively efficient. But there is another benefit. The customer also becomes part of the supply chain. You pick up the box, you load it into your vehicle, you transport it home, and you assemble the product. IKEA has transferred part of the traditional furniture company's workload to the customer, and in exchange, the customer gets a lower price. That's the deal. You do more work, but you pay less. And millions of people are willing to accept that deal. But IKEA's system doesn't stop with flat pack furniture. The design of the store itself is also part of the business model. If you've ever been inside a large IKEA store, you've probably noticed something strange. You're not simply walking into a building and immediately seeing every product. Instead, you follow a carefully designed path through bedrooms, kitchens, living rooms, offices, dining areas, and furniture displays. It's almost like you're walking through an entire imaginary house. And that is incredibly important because IKEA isn't just showing you a chair, it's showing you what that chair could look like inside a beautiful room. You walk through a perfectly designed bedroom and suddenly think, maybe I need new pillows too. Then you walk into a kitchen display and start thinking about cabinets. Then you see a lamp, then a rug, then a plant, then some storage boxes, and suddenly you came to buy one table and you're leaving with 10 things you didn't plan to buy. That's the power of the IKEA showroom. The store is designed to inspire spending. Instead of asking customers to imagine how a piece of furniture might look in their home, IKEA creates the scene for them. And once the customer reaches the end of the showroom, there's another part of the machine waiting, the marketplace. This is where customers find smaller products and accessories, and then eventually the self-service warehouse. By this point, you've already spent a long time inside the store. You've seen dozens of products. You've imagined them inside your home, and now you're surrounded by even more things you can buy. If you're enjoying this kind of breakdown, subscribe, because we're going behind the scenes of some of the world's biggest companies to see how the business actually works. Now, another major advantage IKEA has is scale. IKEA sells huge volumes of furniture around the world, and when a company is buying enormous quantities of materials, it can have more negotiating power with suppliers. Think about the difference between ordering 1,000 chairs and ordering 1 million. The economics can be completely different. Large-scale production can help reduce the cost of each individual item, and IKEA designs many of its products specifically with efficient manufacturing in mind. This is important because IKEA doesn't simply design a beautiful product and then ask, how much will it cost to make? In many cases, Affordability is part of the design process from the beginning. The company has to think about the materials, the number of pieces, how easily the product can be manufactured, how it can fit into a flat box, and how efficiently it can travel around the world. Every small saving can matter when you're selling millions of units. Save $1 on one product and it doesn't sound impressive. Save $1 on a product that sells millions of times and suddenly you've saved millions of dollars. That's the economics of scale. But IKEA has another secret weapon, the customer experience itself. IKEA stores are huge and spending several hours shopping can make people hungry. So what does IKEA sell inside many of its stores? Food. Swedish meatballs became famous around the world. But the food isn't just a random addition to the business. Think about what happens when customers can eat inside the store. They may stay longer. They may be less likely to leave halfway through their shopping trip. And a longer visit creates more opportunities to buy something. The restaurant can also make the entire IKEA trip feel more like an experience than a simple shopping trip. You don't just go to buy furniture, you walk through showrooms, you eat, you shop, and then you go home with a car full of flat boxes. And every part of that experience can support the larger business. But IKEA also has something many customers don't immediately think about: brand power. When you hear IKEA, you probably already know what to expect: affordable furniture, modern Scandinavian-style design, large stores, flat-pack boxes, and products with names you may struggle to pronounce. That consistency is valuable because when customers trust the brand, they know what they're walking into before they even enter the store. And a powerful brand can make it easier to attract customers again and again. Of course, IKEA still has enormous costs. There are stores to operate, employees to pay, factories and suppliers, shipping, warehouses, technology, marketing, rent, utilities, and inventory. Furniture is also a complicated business because trends change, people move, housing markets change, and customers may delay buying a new sofa or kitchen when money becomes tight. So IKEA can't simply rely on low prices. It has to keep the entire machine running efficiently. It needs products that people want, prices that feel attractive, stores that bring customers inside, and a supply chain capable of moving massive amounts of furniture around the world. And when you put everything together, you start to see why IKEA's business model is so interesting. The customer does some of the work. Flat pack boxes reduce the amount of space needed for transportation and storage. Huge sales volumes can improve purchasing and production economics. The showroom encourages customers to imagine and buy. The marketplace creates opportunities for extra purchases, and even the food can help keep customers inside the IKEA experience. So IKEA isn't simply making money by selling you a table. It's making money from an entire system built around one question: how can we remove unnecessary costs and still make the customer want to buy more? And that's why the strange IKEA experience actually makes sense. The maze-like store isn't an accident. The flat boxes aren't an accident. The self-service warehouse isn't an accident. Even making you assemble your own furniture is part of the system. IKEA realized that convenience costs money. So instead of giving the customer maximum convenience, it created a compromise. You do a little more work, and hopefully you get a better price. And millions of customers decided that was a trade worth making. So the next time you're sitting on the floor at midnight trying to figure out why you have 3 screws left after building an IKEA table, remember, you're not just assembling furniture, you're participating in one of the most efficient and unusual retail business models in the world. Because IKEA doesn't make money despite making you do some of the work. In many ways, IKEA makes money because of it.